Welcome to Taste of Life, an interactive television series for the gourmet in us all. This week's Epicurean Odyssey showcases the seductive city of New Orleans, Louisiana. Exploring New Orleans, we'll discover the sultry allure of the historic French Quarter until the sweet aroma of fresh chicory draws us to relax and sip smooth, rich coffee at the famous Café du Monde. Later, we'll explore the elegant Greek Revival homes in the Garden District before settling in at the exquisite and renowned Commander's Palace restaurant for a savory Creole meal not soon to be forgotten. Finally, Taste of Life will share with you a spicy specialty food manufacturer who offers fiery and delicious, yet easy to prepare Cajun dishes at Mr. B's.
We are in New Orleans, Louisiana, or New Orleans. Never say
New Orleans
unless you're singing a song.
Welcome to the Big Easy.
New Orleans, a city shrouded with mystery and intrigue, but it's also a city that will happily divulge its secrets and wonders to anyone willing to take the time to discover them. Listening to live jazz under the breeze of a ceiling fan, joining in the Mardi Gras festival, dining on spicy Creole and Cajun cuisine, or simply resting in the shade of a cypress tree. Hi, I'm Catherine Blythe for Taste of Life Television, and join us as we explore the magic that is New Orleans. It was here in New Orleans that the French Creoles first settled, and it was considered a colony of France until a dinner party in 1803, when it was announced that Napoleon wanted to sell the stretch of land that extended from New Orleans to the Rocky Mountains in Canada. For $15 million, the United States became the proud new owners of an additional 600 million acres of land. The Louisiana Purchase is still considered the greatest real estate deal in history, and consequently, English became the official language here, even though the area was populated by French-speaking Creoles. Interestingly enough, Napoleon was also responsible for bringing coffee to America, and Café du Monde, established in the late 1800s, became America's first coffee house. Still in its original location and still serving the original chicory coffee, Café du Monde has become a true landmark in New Orleans. Taste of Life's first New Orleans specialty product is Café du Monde's gift basket of superb chicory coffee and delicious beignet mix. It's in street-side cafes like this one, the Café du Monde, that you'll find not only live jazz, but something else that New Orleans is famous for, and that's its coffee. Joining me today is Jay Roman, the co-owner, general manager of this cafe.
One of the group.
Well, it's a family-owned business.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Welcome to New Orleans, and welcome to Café du Monde.
Thank you. It's just spectacular here. It's so lively and energetic.
This is summertime, and people are moving a little slower than usual, but we still have a little activity.
Tell me a little bit about the history of Café du Monde.
Café du Monde's been in the location you're sitting in for 130 years. You're sitting in the city's oldest marketplace, and at one time this was an open-air meat market where all of New Orleans came to shop.
And how long has it been in your family?
55 years. It's took a series of turns. When Café du Monde was very small, it literally was a coffee stand. Throughout this building were a series of little coffee shops that people would come, the farmers, when they brought in their products at night, and the shoppers in the daytime, and then it kind of evolved to what you're in today.
Now, what about the history of coffee? I understand New Orleans was one of the first places that coffee came here when the French landed.
When the French settled here in New Orleans, they brought coffee with them, and coffee being hard to get, they had mixed it with chicory, which is the root of the endive plant, and it's ground and roasted with the coffee. And when they settled here and found coffee more abundant, they enjoyed the flavor so much they always stuck with it. And we still here in New Orleans drink coffee with chicory.
Now, there is something else you're famous for here, and it is these delicious-looking cakes.
The beignets beignets are fried and served with the powdered sugar on top of it, and they too have their heritage in France, and they're now a staple in New Orleans diet.
What other products do you have here at Cafe du Monde?
This is it. This is the bulk of our deal.
So you're famous all over for your wonderful coffee and these.
And those beignets. We have orange juice and we have soft drinks, but these are our two staple products.
This is what everybody comes back for.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Well, thank you very much, Jay. I'm looking forward to drinking my
Hope you enjoy
cup
it.
of coffee.
Good.
Would you like to have some with me?
Absolutely.
I think it's about time we had these. One part holy, one part profane. New Orleans is home to what some like to call the greatest free show on earth, Mardi Gras. It's definitely the splashiest festival on North American soil, and judging by the eye-popping costumes, it's safe to say that the claims are all true. Every year, the day before Ash Wednesday is Fat Tuesday, or Mardi Gras, which marks the last chance at frivolity before a 40-day period of austerity and fasting, known as Lent. In the early 18th century, celebrations were so rowdy that a law was passed to make Mardi Gras festivities illegal. That law, plus an attempt to ban all carnival mask wearing, were largely ignored, and eventually all was legalized again. So, now during Mardi Gras, practically anything goes. Mardi Gras is certainly the festive highlight here in New Orleans, but that doesn't mean the fun and frivolity ends there. Year-round on Bourbon Street, you'll find just about every entertainment venue you could possibly imagine.
Stand by me, oh, stand by me, oh, stand by me, oh, stand by me. Girl, when the sky we look upon, oh.
Away from Bourbon Street and just out of earshot from French Quarter Jazz, you'll find the elegant Garden District mansions. The neighborhood, adorned with flowers and lush greenery, was built by American settlers back in New Orleans' antebellum Golden Age. The Greek Revival architecture of the era is beautifully typified by the Toby Westfeld home, which is thought to be the oldest mansion in the area. Strikingly different from its neighbors, the Briggs Staub House has the foreboding and mysterious sharp edges of Gothic Revival architecture. Set among these historic masterpieces, Taste of Life brings you the luxurious Commander's Palace restaurant, housed in a stately Victorian mansion. Commander's Palace was established by Emile Commander in 1880 and attracts gourmets and connoisseurs from around the world. Commander's Palace restaurant captures the culinary heritage and spirit of New Orleans. The cuisine prepared here is Creole at its best, with a New World American touch. Taste of Life's fine dining choice in New Orleans is Commander's Palace, with renowned executive chef Jamie Shannon.
Dude, I love New Orleans. The people, it has a lot of depth, has a lot of character, a lot of culture, tradition, and people love to eat and have fun. And that's what they do. You sit at a table and everyone talks about what they ate the day before and what they're going to eat tomorrow.
You've been here for about 11 years, correct?
That's right.
Can you tell me a little bit about your background, your training, and how you came to be here? Because you're not from New Orleans, right?
Yes, that's correct. I grew up at the Jersey Shore. I hung out with my godfather, who was a lobster fisherman, and spent a lot of time with his wife, who was a great cook, Italian cook. And I also spent quite a lot of time on my great-grandparents' farm, and that was right there, in South Jersey. My great-grandparents were also good cooks. They cooked from scratch. Everything was from scratch. I worked a few small jobs and wanted to go to culinary school, so I applied for a scholarship because my mom and dad wanted me to be an accountant. I was going to school in North Carolina. Well, I was fortunate. I got a scholarship, went to Culinary Institute of America in Hyde Park, and had a great education, had a lot of fun, learned a lot. And while I was going to culinary school, I worked in a lot of European restaurants, some French restaurants, Italian restaurants. I worked with a lot of Germans. And at school, we had a American Bounty, and it was when American food was starting to get really big, and the American Bounty, totally all American-style food. And so it was great, so we did a few New Orleans dishes. This is the last class before you graduate. So I asked one of the instructors, Tim Ryan, I go, I want to really cook this American cuisine. Where should I go? And he says, well, you know, go to New Orleans, and you should work at Commander's Palace. And I'd come down here for 6 months, because I was going to go to California afterwards, and I've been down here since.
Now, you're known here for your Creole cooking, but you also combine it with a New World American touch. Tell me how the menu reflects that.
Well, the menu is very authentic. It definitely is. It's very Creole. It's very New Orleans. What makes it that is most of the product comes from this vicinity. I'd say 70%. We have, you know, we have our own farmers that raise rabbits, chickens, ducks. We have people raising tomatoes for us, herbs. We have fishermen that are catching, you know, they go from oyster fishing to shrimping to crabbing. For instance, right now, soft shells are in season. We're running them on the menu. Shrimp are in season. We're running them. We're just getting out of crawfish season. We still have a little bit of crawfish left. Once we go from there, we'll go into oysters and different fish like snapper and redfish. And so there's always something in season here where it gives us the opportunity to go and get that local product.
Now, Commander's Palace is an award-winning restaurant. Can you tell me about some of the awards they've won here?
Well, we've had a great year this year. We were picked favorite restaurant by Zagat, Zagat survey, and then we were picked outstanding restaurant of the year through the James Beard Foundation, which is the biggest award you can get, which was really a great honor. And the Food and Wine Readers Poll had picked Commander's as their #1 favorite restaurant, 3 times more than any other restaurant had any votes. Southern Living just did a big deal with us. It's picked as their favorite restaurant. So we're very fortunate. We've had a great year.
I understand you're going to be making us something special today.
That's right. We're going to do some crawfish makshu, and we're going to do that with some Louisiana popcorn rice. It's kind of a real traditional Creole dish, and it should be fun.
Today's chef's specialty dish is a Creole sensation, crawfish makshu. For a free copy of this exclusive Commander's Palace recipe, visit our website or call us toll-free.
You know, it's funny, people say, how can you cook in New Orleans in the summer? You know, it's so hot. I go, it's a lot hotter outside than it is in the kitchen. We're gonna do this dish. This is a little bit of a combination of Creole and Cajun. The cooking technique and method on this dish is just as important as the seasoning, because we don't get all your flavors just from cayenne or garlic. You get it from caramelizing and using the right cooking techniques and method. A little bit of garlic. Some of our seafood seasonings and our garlic. And this is going to bring out a lot of the oils in the garlic. It's going to bring out flavor from the garlic. It's going to bring a lot of oils out of the seasoning blend. You know, there's some ground cayenne, some garlic, paprika, salt, cracked black pepper. We blend all these here ourselves. And you want to cook these together because this dish has got to be a nice rounded flavor. And we're going to add some of our other vegetables. Our onions. We have 3 kinds of peppers, yellow, red, and green bell peppers. You know, give it some color. You know, makshu is meaning like cabbage. The Indians that were native to here had a line of corn that when people started moving to southern Louisiana, they tasted this corn and they said it tasted like cabbage. Now today, I don't know if this corn even exists anymore, but things with corn was called makshu. So we're doing the crawfish makshu. We're doing it with the corn, which is indigenous to here, the popcorn rice, which is from here, the crawfish, the peppers, the onions, and of course some of our okra. We're gonna add our okra and our corn. They say okra was brought over in slaves' pockets, actually. They brought it over from Africa. It's an African vegetable. It's quite unique, okay? Crawfish are available, you know, through different companies from Louisiana that will send across the world. I recommend Louisiana crawfish because they're fresh. You know, you get them ones that aren't frozen. They have a high fat content. It's just a really good quality product, the Louisiana crawfish. We have our crawfish stock. This is a base that we had made from the live crawfish we had ground. We had made a dark roux. When the roux, the fat is nice and hot and smoking, we add the flour slowly, let it cook. All the flour is caramelizing. So we want to taste this. Very crucial that we taste everything here at the restaurant. That's what cooking at Commander's is all about. Garnish with a little popcorn rice, some crawdads, some green onions, big part of our cooking here. And we have a little bit of homemade bacon to give it a little crispness. That's our crawfish mock shoe.
Crawfish mock shoe at Commander's Palace, and it was delicious. Stay with us because when we return, Taste of Life celebrates New Orleans jazz and spicy Cajun cooking. Celebration and spice are integral to New Orleans food culture. That, along with the tropical heat and the history of oppression in the Deep South, led to the spiritual and mythological birth of jazz. It all began back when slaves met to socialize in their native tongues and dance and play music with traditional instruments. West Indian and African tradition, ragtime, blues, bite, and swagger all evolved into jazz, a sound that for many conjures up images of the Deep South, spicy food, and tropical heat. But for New Orleans, jazz is a living, breathing link to its past. And New Orleans is not only famous for its jazz, but also for its traditional Creole and Cajun cuisines. Creole cuisine is historically the more refined of the two culinary arts, with its roots being traced back to the Spanish and French aristocracy, while Cajun culinary secrets have been passed down through the Acadian family tree. Our second New Orleans product manufacturer, Mr. B's Cajun Products, creatively packages those age-old and spicy Cajun secrets.
Mr. B's product was initially made for the working woman, and of course nowadays a lot of the men help their wives cook. These products are all fat and cholesterol free as they are. They are cooked in 30 to 45 minutes. It's a quick and easy gourmet type meal. I was in service back in 55 through 57, and that is more or less where my culinary arts began, and I did well with it. I had never done it before, but I did well, and once I came out of service, I belonged to a Knights of Columbus organization here. I started cooking for the Knights of Columbus, and I got interested in quick, easy Cajun products. It's all natural products. We begin with a base, and then we add all of the spices that Louisianians or Cajuns are famous for. Many people believe that Cajun food is hot with pepper. That is not true. The different spices, the onions, the green onions, the celery, the parsley, the bell peppers, all of those are what really gives our food the delicious flavors that we enjoy here in Louisiana. Louisianians love gumbo. It's probably their favorite food. It's very simple also. Here we use a lot of chicken and sausage for gumbo. Seafood is excellent, and you can put any combination you want to. Some people like okra in their gumbo. You're welcome to put it in. If you like tomatoes, you're welcome to put it in. But as it stands, it's the base for just a good old Cajun gumbo. The next product, I guess, would have to be, and I'll have to tell you a little story about that. That's the red beans and rice. What started me on it was an old black lady out of New Orleans. She used to buy the gumbo mix, and she had a red bean day on Wednesdays, and one day she was cooking her red beans, and package of gumbo mix was sitting up above the stove, and the package fell into bread beans. And she said it was marvelous. It was the best thing she'd ever eaten. Jambalaya, that is probably another favorite here in Louisiana. Jambalaya originally was a combination of cleaning the refrigerator out. Any portions of meat the Cajuns had left over, they barbecued, they had some chicken left over or some sausage or beef, anything, they would make a jambalaya. And it was simply a lot of herbs and spices, a little water, and of course rice, and then whatever meat you had to throw in it. It's very quick, and people love it. You serve it over white rice, and it makes a very good meal. In fact, a lot of people that have never had it before find it wonderful.
All the wine street drinks of New York man, I don't understand. The taste of Aspen, the same long lane, all over our land.
Here in the French Quarter, you might just stumble across one of the founding fathers of jazz still playing his horn in a backstreet cafe. But if your preference happens to be Dixieland, no doubt you'll find it here too. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the sights, the rhythms, and of course the flavors of New Orleans. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week on Taste of Life Television.
Catherine Blythe's wardrobe, courtesy of Peter Nygaard International. Taste of Life's transportation was provided by Rexall Industries and Outdoor Travel. If you would like to purchase any of the products featured in the program, obtain free recipes, or simply learn more about Taste of Life, contact us at www.tasteoflife.com or call us toll-free at 1-888-41-TASTE.